This is gonna take crackerjack timing, Wang.
Total concentration. You ready, Jack?
I was born ready.
If you watched my earlier video, you might be a little bit surprised to see me. You know, it is my birthday. I was supposed to be taking the day off. But if I'm being completely honest, I've probably taken 3 days off in the past year or so from the channel. I pretty much work every day. And I couldn't quit you guys. But I do have some cool balloons my wife got me for my birthday. Oh, wrong side. There they are. There's a whiskey balloon that says perfectly aged and all that stuff. But here I am. I'm here to talk about comic books. And this might seem odd. I am fully on board Phillip Kennedy Johnson's Superman after what I've read in Future State, Superman War of Worlds, and Superman House of L. Although if you've been following my community post, you'll see that I hadn't really recommended Superman Worlds of War for a couple of reasons. Obviously, I did review the first issue, and I kind of laid out my problems there. So you must be like, you must have been blown away by House of L. In fact, I wasn't. I like it. I recommend it. It's a solid recommend. It's not a great comic book, but there are a lot of really great ideas. So while I didn't love the execution of what I saw from Phillip Kennedy Johnson in Future State regarding Superman, I am really convinced that he's the correct writer for Superman. I think he's going to do good things. I just think there was just some problems maybe with the format and things like that. So before I get into the details of, kind of where I think it went off the rails, but why I do believe that he is the correct creator for Superman, even though he's not a big name, I do want to say, if you're enjoying the content here on the channel, you like comic book news, reviews, you like me to have a little bit of fun every now and then, this is probably the channel for you. It might be time to subscribe to Thinking Critical YouTube. Hit the bell for notifications. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this, thumbs down if you don't. And I do want to hear from you guys. Are you fully invested in Phillip Kennedy Johnson as the new writer of Superman after his performance in Future State? Now, here's the main crux of my issues with the War of Worlds story. When you see the cover, it's like, Superman, Planet Hulk kind of story. He's stuck on War World. He's going to be fighting Mongrel or whatever. Not exactly what we got. We did get some interesting depictions. I'm not a big fan of treating Superman as like a deity, and seeing people go on a sacred pilgrimage to Smallville to see where Superman grew up. Feels like they're treating him like a godlike figure. Not a big fan of that kind of portrayal of him. But when we did finally get to the crux of what he was trying to get to with the main character talking about her experience and how she was saved with Superman and what she believed he represents, I feel like Phillip Kennedy Johnson essentially encapsulated what Superman is. So while I didn't get the Planet Hulk Superman story that was supposed to be condensed into 40 pages that I really wanted, it feels like he gets the character, and that is going to be his representation of what Clark Kent as Superman in his Superman and Action Comics books are going to be. And I've also heard that he won't be the writer on both Superman and Action Comics like long term. He's getting them both started, get them going. Then he's going to work on one, and someone else is going to come on the other. Have not confirmed that. That's just the rumor that I've heard. Although I will say this, it feels like the Superman comic is going to end up being like John Kent Superman, and then, or maybe it's Action Comics going to be John Kent Superman, and Superman is going to be like Clark Kent leaving to go to War World, what we saw in Future State. And then when we finally got to the second issue of Worlds of War, there's some story there, but basically it was the new Mongrel was killing Clark Kent over and over and over, bringing him back to life, resuscitating him, and trying to steal his hope. But Superman is a character whose foundation is hope. He's an aspirational hero. He never gives up hope. And I do like that portrayal of Superman. So it feels like Phillip Kennedy Johnson gets the character. I just didn't like the format and the telling of the story. And there could be some reasons by that. When I did read an interview with Phillip Kennedy Johnson, when he said he was brought in on Future State, I don't believe he was actually to write these stories. He was in there to do some world building, kind of map out some the L family lineage. I think was what he was initially brought in to do. So while we know Jeffrey Thorne and John Ridley and some of these other creators have been working on those stories that we saw for over a year before they were published, I get the feeling that Phillip Kennedy Johnson actually didn't. I think that he put some stuff together, they liked it, and then they ended up converting it into a story. So I think he might have had less time. That's just the impression that I get. I have not confirmed that at all. Now let's get into House of L. And I'm telling you, while I don't love this comic, I am recommending it. There's some issues, and I'm going to get to it. It feels like DC Comics is leaving money on the table with this story. This could be their like Superman-led kind of styles DC universe where you get like one cool 6 to 8 issue miniseries telling this kind of futuristic Game of Thrones style Superman story where all the descendants of Superman are bound under the banner of House L to protect Earth against the Red King and his army of, what do we have, Parademons. We had, it looked like a horde of dark sides. I think the Black Racer was in there, and it was an interesting conflict, but it was so compressed, it was so condensed. Like you're being introduced to like 10 plus new Superman lineage characters in a, it is a plus size story, but there was not enough room to breathe or get a proper introduction to the characters. So I know what they are. Oh, there is a Superman that is a Blue Lantern. Oh, there is a Superman that is a Tamarin. There's a Thanagarian Superman. We've got Earth Superman there. I get what the characters were, but we didn't really get to know them or know who they are. And I think that was one of the issues. But if this story had more time to breathe, it would have been really cool. This would have been a really dope miniseries. Like the concept behind Future State Superman House of L is awesome. In the future, Superman's lineage has kind of grown throughout the galaxy. He has offspring on all these different planets, and they have united the kingdoms, for one last final stand against, this other force that is working against him that looks hopeless. And we do find out that the leader of that force is also lineage of Superman, actually the very son of Superman. And I thought, not the greatest reveal of all time. And, he did kind of turn back to the side of good after his father returned from the far flungs of the galaxy while he was trying to restore hope to other places. Apparently that's the mission that Clark Kent has been on for well over 1,000 years. We're up at the years 3000. Kind of weird that you're in the year 3000. And yes, Brainiac 4 is there, but there's like, where's the Legion of Superheroes? Where's John Kent? Like, it seemed like there was an opportunity to do that, but it was so decompressed. Like, you're missing parts in there. But you can only assume that the Legion of Superheroes are like dead. But aren't the Legion of Superheroes in Future State fighting their own battles, trying to get the Legion to get back together? So it ends up kind of being confusing. I just think the whole timeline with Future State, that is in another video. I am going to do a full wrap up with Perch. Should be up on the channel on Monday, where we kind of get into that. That's going to be one of the major failings, but the idea and the concept behind a House of L is really, really cool. Like that could be, like I said, one individual, like 6 to 8 issue miniseries that just keeps spawning other things out of it. Like a House of, it's very much felt inspired by Excalibur and Game of Thrones. Like you have all these different banners, and they've all been united to see who's going to kind of rule the galaxy in the end. And there's even, there's a couple of nods to it, like the character that's responsible for the evil version or the evil lineage of the House of L. I believe her name is Cersei Lannister. Also, she used magic and stuff to coerce Superman. He is obviously vulnerable to magic, so there's a lot of story to tell there. There's so much meat left on the bone there that it feels like they wasted. Like they wasted what was probably something really cool within this. And I think, with what we saw out of Phillip Kennedy Johnson with The Last God, with his fantasy style storytelling, I think a cosmic, future fantasy type setting would have been perfect for this story. It feels like he's the right writer for it. The problem is he's probably not well known enough yet to probably, I don't know. they're giving him Superman. They're giving him Action Comics, at least in the beginning. It feels like a pretty big vote of confidence, like another miniseries. Feels like it would have been a no-brainer. Maybe I'm crazy, but this was a cool concept, and there is like an overall arching theme across the Superman books from Phillip Kennedy Johnson so far, at least in Future State. It's hope that Superman is an inspiration to others. He's an inspiration to other heroes. He's an inspiration to people. Now, I don't like the deity kind of thing. There's also an alternate cover that portrays the older version of Clark Kent that's in the future that comes back and essentially saves his son in the galaxy and all of his lineage that are on the moon protecting Earth. And he definitely has a messianic style look to him as far as the way that they did the cover. I imagine that was on purpose. So if he's going full-fledged, Jesus or Superman is Jesus, like he's the savior or something, or he's some type of deity type figure, I'm not going to enjoy that. It's one of the things I definitely don't like about some portrayals of Superman. Not going to get into those details. I've talked about that enough. The cool thing about Superman is he's the anti-Dr. Manhattan. He's got all the powers in the universe. He could turn his back on humanity at any moment, but he doesn't. He wants to be a part of us. And you could say, well, that kind of feels like it could be some type of deal, but it's not that. He's a refugee that is longing for acceptance, and he found a place that is his new home, and it would be easy for him to say, you know what, I'm not human anyway. Let me go off and see if I can find some more Kryptonians somewhere. And we've certainly seen stories along those lines plenty in the past. But he's so grounded in humanity, and his morals are completely human from his upbringing with the Kents, his adoptive parents, that he is one of us. He's been fully integrated and accepted as a human, as an American. And I think that's like the cool part about it. He doesn't have to protect Earth. In theory, you could say he could turn his back, but he can't turn his back because he is human. He's fully grounded in humanity. Another thing that I think might irk some people is there is definitely a call. Like I said, it's very much like Game of Thrones, where the House of El has their saying, winter is coming, or Lannister always repays their debts, and it's for truth and justice, and all the new characters, all the new lineage that we've met of Kal-El Superman are saying for truth and justice, for truth and justice. I think that might irk some people, that obviously there's no American way on that one. This is in the year 3000. By all means, America might not exist anymore. They're also residing on the moon, and a couple of the characters say that they believe that maybe Clark Kent, like the stories of Clark Kent, aren't true. They've never met him, they've never seen him, and they think that maybe like Clark Kent, the original Superman, is like folklore. It's something that their parents, like stories that their parents told them to inspire them. Of course, at the end, they find out that he is real, because he does return and essentially saves everybody. So I could see that moment where they repeated the mantra over and over and over, irking some people. It doesn't bother me, because just thinking about the setting, it makes sense within the characters in the story. They don't even, some of them are questioning whether or not he even existed. The truth, justice, American way part probably left the lineage when Superman it feels like he abandoned Earth and abandoned his family, but apparently he's been going off to other galaxies to inspire other people. So while I don't like the execution, I'm not the biggest fan, and I don't personally recommend the Superman Worlds of War story, because I think it's a little bit of a mess and a big time wasted opportunity. And I don't exactly like the execution of House of El, because I think it's such a great idea that it is far too condensed and it's a wasted opportunity. But I still like the way that he portrays Superman. Phillip Kennedy Johnson, the new writer of Superman Action Comics. I like the way that he thinks and presents Superman and what he represents. I hope he does not focus on the, he's a new deity type thing. That will. I don't think that works. But everything else about it, I think, is really strong. And so while like I said, these aren't my favorite stories. I like the foundation that he's set. I like what Phillip Kennedy Johnson has to say about Superman. So I think maybe, like I said, he didn't get as much time as some of the other writers to develop the stories. And maybe Phillip Kennedy Johnson isn't the type of writer that can take, 44 pages and tell a complete, fully fleshed out story. The way that maybe Ram V was able to do with Swamp Thing, or even Joelle Jones was able to do with Wonder Woman, and some of the other stories within Future State that I thought really worked. So I think maybe with more issues in a longer format, obviously worked very well with The Last God. I also think he's going to kick major butt with Alien. That I think when he gets some more room to breathe and time to roll out his ideas and fully flesh them out, I think it'll come out better, and the stories will be easier to digest and be more enjoyable. So I'm complicated. I'm not exactly the biggest fan of the execution, but I love what he has to say about Superman. So that is why I am fully on board Phillip Kennedy Johnson's Superman heading into Infinite Frontier. I do have a lot of questions about the line, but there are some titles that I do have a lot of faith in. Ram V, Mike Perkins on Swamp Thing. I think Tom Taylor is going to knock it out of the park with Nightwing. I think Joshua Williamson's Robin has a lot of potential. I'm definitely going to be a customer for that one. So there's some stuff in there, and Phillip Kennedy Johnson's Superman in Action are going to be must-reads for me because I do believe in him as a writer, and I think he definitely gets Superman as a character. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Did you like those stories better than me? And are you ready for Phillip Kennedy Johnson's Superman? Even though he's not the biggest name in the world, I'm ready for some fresh ideas, fresh takes on Superman after what Brian Michael Bendis did, and I think that he is the right creator to do it.
If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. I would appreciate it very much. It helps us attract more views for the channel. Subscribe for future commentary, comic book news, and reviews. And don't forget to ring the bell for notifications. If you want to talk comics, movies, and much, much more, you can follow me on Twitter at Wes_from_TC. With that, Salamat Po, and I'm out.